Welcome to the Hidayah Podcast with Paria.
And Madiha. Sorry about that. We just had a problem with the adverts.
Okay, anyways. So what is the Hidayah Podcast? We've been on Salam Radio for 2 weeks now, but the Hidayah Podcast, Hidayah in Arabic means guidance. We set up this podcast to guide the youth as a guidance for the youth, by the youth, so us. We know we all make mistakes, so why don't you join us on this journey so we can all make room for improvement together, inshallah.
Okay, assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another one of our podcasts, the Hidayah Podcast. Before we make a start, make sure you guys send in comments for this topic so that we can make this an interactive discussion. Make sure you guys text on 07 411 191062. Okay, so today me and Piria have decided to talk about the different effects of social media, media such as Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, especially BBC News and the radio, and how it manipulates and dictates the opinions and thoughts of the individuals that watch and listen to these forms of social media. So on the second half of this hour, we'll also be talking about the effects of individuals that we hang around with and how they change our behavior. Okay, so how does social media affect me? So social media for me, it has so many different effects. Sometimes I actually don't realize.
As she was saying, we don't realize that we go on social media.
Yeah, I don't actually. Yeah, we have the intention to go into it for like 10 minutes, but I end up sitting there scrolling down TikTok for like 2 hours. I think TikTok especially is one of those social media platforms that is so effective, and I'm seeing these girls that are wearing nice clothes, they possess nice things.
100%.
They live in immaculate houses, and it just makes you want more. And as a believer...
You know what it is? Social media has been built to like distract you, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the swiping thing, they've made it so that you can just swipe along,
mm-hmm.
and it's the move of one finger, and by the move of the one finger you just don't want to get off, because you know, us humans, we're so lazy. I mean, talking about me personally, I can be quite lazy sometimes, but I feel like that's how social media affects me.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So they possess nice things, they live in these immaculate houses, and it just makes you want more. Especially as a believer, we should always be in a state of gratitude, and it takes that away from us. Like, you're literally watching the lives of other people and how successful they are, but at the same time, you're watching their life and wasting yours when you should be building your own success. Like, I feel like
there's a lot to talk about in that subject.
Loads, like literally loads, so much content. Like, you have to have a balance, I guess. Like, you have deen and dunya, and people forget because it's so it becomes so addictive.
Yeah, and the fact, like, you know, when you watch something for too long,
mm-hmm.
you start to feel like it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
100%.
I know so many people, yeah. For example, there's false information. You know, for example, news.
Yeah, because like you look at it and you just think it's so unachievable for you, and that's exactly what makes me feel so like depressed about it. And they say like, hold your dunya in your hand but not in your heart.
Wow,
and
that's a beautiful saying.
I know. But like, we've talked about how it can emotionally impact someone, but what we actually need to discuss is how it can affect someone mentally and physically.
I think we should go on to the first social media app, being TikTok. I feel like that's a very TikTok, I feel like with me, you know what it is? You can't even say TikTok. First of all, TikTok's got music in it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even say I go on TikTok, but I've got Islamic stuff on my For You page. I know a lot of people use that excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you can use it for good causes, it can lead you astray as well, because not all of your videos on your For You page is going to be Islamic content.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be music coming in from time to time. And music is like the enemy of Quran, I'd say. You know, one thing my parents always say to me, you have one heart. You can only choose music or Quran. You can't keep both of them in one heart.
That's what it is with my hifz. Like, I have to be careful about listening to music, because literally I'll listen to, even if it's one song, and then the next minute when I'm trying to revise, it makes it so much more harder for me. So it is, you don't realize, you just think, oh, it's just a bit of music, it's not going to make any difference, but it literally has such a big impact. Excuse. Yeah. And
you know what it is as well, you say it's a little bit of music, and then let's say you've got to go pray Asr in 5 minutes, you're scrolling on TikTok, there's music coming on, blah blah, so and then you're in the prayer, you put your phone away, you're praying, Allahu Akbar, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in your head, all you can think about is that song that's coming in your head.
Even when I'm trying to revise, like, I'll put my phone next to me, and once I get another ping, it's like I have to answer that message, otherwise it's going to give me an anxiety, like, for the rest of my revision session. So I have to actually switch my phone off and put it away in order for me to actually get on with my revision. But what other ways does social media, like, affect you?
I'd say with things like social media, it gave me really high standards for things that were like, for 100%. Example, expecting everyone to look good.
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly
you know, going through like 5 TikToks of a couple girls, you'll see like the prettiest girls, but in real life that isn't true.
And these, like,
you'll have to go through thousands of females to find a girl like that.
Yeah.
And you start comparing yourself to that girl, thinking, why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? It's all fake.
That's literally what I just went through. Especially, it will be that a lot of that will be in the content that we're going to go through in a minute. But
it also makes me feel like, you know, some people use TikTok to like spread music, blah blah. It makes me feel like I have to use it for that reason as well. It really influences you. You know, as soon as you start watching something for too long, it makes you want to do that as well. And I'd say it goes along the lines of Shaitan's footsteps as well, because you Shaitan tells you to do one thing, and then he makes something else look normal to you, and then you start doing other things. But social media is very misguiding, wallahi.
Yes. So guys, make sure you comment so that we're able to have a good discussion based on your questions as well, and what you think of how social media affects you. Make sure you comment on Party's live as well. So we're
guys, join my Instagram live, PARYA_PENJWEN1.
So I think we've discussed how it can emotionally affect us. It's also important to talk about how it affects someone mentally and physically. So social media, for me, it can also impact me by making me feel so insecure about my own appearance. I think this is when Instagram hits me as well. I'm watching these influencers as I'm scrolling through Instagram. I don't know if this affects you as well, Pidia, but they all have these immaculate looks. Like, we don't care about what filter they have on their face. We just go straight into wanting to look exactly like them.
I feel like it affects men as well, because, you know, nowadays, men be like, oh, I want this haircut, this haircut. You know, there was this haircut that went viral. I can't remember what it was called, and all these boys started getting it because there's now social standards on men looking like this and females looking like that. Social standards is a big thing.
You know what it is with boys, that, you know, like branded clothes as well, they struggle when it comes to that kind of stuff, because you're going to have to wear Gucci, especially on non-school uniform day. I swear boys, they struggle the most on non-school uniform day, because it's like,
bless them, wallahi.
Yeah, even my brother, like, oh, you have to get this branded jeans, these branded trainers.
Mom, I need to go shopping.
Yeah. I'm going to order the Moncler jacket. You have to order that. So even with boys, and I know a lot of girls that would do anything to look like these figures, even if they're going through a tough time in their personal life, or suffer from health conditions. And one of the biggest things that hit me recently was eating disorders. I didn't realize a big part of this was because of the impact of social media and how young influencers these days are presenting themselves as leading this perfect life with no imperfection, and they make it out like the only way to live this life and achieve the looks that they have is if you live your life like a robot. And some girls will be naive and not eat anything, but will endlessly work out without eating anything. They won't consider whether it's affecting their health. And it kind of just reminds me, because the other day I was watching a documentary about Zara McDermott, and she's a model and influencer on social media platforms. She made a documentary about eating disorders. I suggest everyone watches this. It's called Zara McDermott, Eating Disorders. And she actually didn't realize that she may have potentially caused a negative impact on young girls that could have potentially caused them to suffer from eating disorders.
What does she talk about?
So I'll go through that. So one thing I rate about her so much for making this documentary is that she was afraid. She wasn't afraid of creating these afraid to make other influencers as well as herself aware that even though they are creating these pages with good intentions to promote health and fitness, they could actually be causing a negative impact on some girls by creating eating disorders. Now, for some individuals, you know, like they may have a positive impact on them. They will get comments such as, "You're my inspiration, you're my role model, and that you've encouraged me to carry on to have the look, the appearance that I have now." However, it may have been harder for other individuals to achieve that appearance that the influencers have. And that's where it just goes wrong, because they will do things the wrong way, such as starving themselves just to have that appearance.
I've heard a lot of females like that.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, when I was watching the documentary, Zara went to a house in Birmingham where young girls that suffer from eating disorders stay for around 6 months in order to get better. So they basically help them get through their bad habits, encourage them to have more of a good plan of what time they should eat, the amount that they should be eating. Like, there's nothing wrong with working out and being fit, but you have to also have that good diet. And I think these young girls, they struggle to achieve that. So she asked one of the young girls, "What should I do to create a page that doesn't affect young girls and a page that doesn't make my life, my looks look so unachievable?" The young girl said that, "When you look at an influencer's page such as yours, I feel like I'll never be able to achieve what you have. It makes me feel so under pressure to look a certain way. One thing I should suggest is that you make your page more fun. You should make your page more fun and understanding, as well as empathetic towards other people's situation. And influencers tend to make everything look so impossible." That's one thing that got me thinking. It's like sometimes they will have to post, you know, one thing that got me thinking is like they'll post like a plate full of food and they don't even eat half of it. Yeah. Like post this big plate full of food, and
you know what I was just thinking? I've never seen an influencer that wasn't like in shape. Like, I get it, you're in shape and you're trying to show us how you got in shape, but like if it was someone who showed you the journey of how, well, not showed you the journey, but you went on the journey with them, and then that would be better.
Yeah, the followers, they're literally manipulated by every little thing that they do. But deep down, some influencers themselves, they're not perfect. So the girl was like, I suggest you be more honest with your page and stop presenting yourself as somebody that doesn't make mistakes in order to achieve what you have. And yeah, that's what I think.
I feel like that's an example of unrealistic standards. I have another example of unrealistic standards on social media. You know, food. You know, when people post, be like, "Oh my days, the food from this place is so nice," and then everyone starts posting it and it goes viral. Like, for example, do you remember that place that went viral on TikTok, Binley's Mega Chippy?
To be honest,
and they even
I don't remember, because I don't really. I'll go on TikTok, but I'm not really like, I'm not on it all the time.
Yeah, I get you.
I think I'm addicted to going on my Snapchat account, like waiting for people to message me. That's my that's the worst habit I have. It's like no one's even messaging me, but I'll literally just wait for someone to send me a chat. TikTok, I find it a little bit boring because I just think everything's the same. Like,
yeah, I get you.
Do you not?
You know, I used to have that addiction to Snapchat as well. We'll speak about that later. But you know, the Binley's Mega Chippy, they'd have bare people just waiting outside. It was crazy. And when you go there, eventually you find out it's not even that long.
Yeah.
That literally just shows how fake social media is. But yeah, that's another example of how fake social media is. I feel like
it's just, you know, like, I remember once one of my friends, she went to this party in London. She wasn't Muslim, but it was a girls only party. I think one of her friends invited her. She was a Muslim, so she said, "Come to my house, and we're gonna have like a girls only party."
Yeah.
And basically,
Was this a social media friend?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. No,
A social media?
No.
Oh.
It was she had met someone for uni, and she just told me this at Jummah. Someone I met at Khadija Masjid at Jummah, and she said to me that I was invited to this girls only party.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically she was saying to me that the sisters, they posted a lot, and I saw one of the pictures and I thought, that looked really, really fun. Like, it looked so fun. But she said that, you know, the way it looks on the pictures, it wasn't exactly as fun as it looked. Because to begin with, she said it was really awkward and she didn't know anyone there. But in the end, it got a lot better. And that just made me think, like, the pictures, it just made it look a lot better than it actually was.
I feel like for me, if a party was very good, you'd forget your phone was even there.
Yeah.
That's happened to me a lot. If the party was so good, they wouldn't have even posted it.
Halal party, guys. Halal parties.
Anyways, let's go on to Snapchat now. How
Yes.
did why are you addicted to Snapchat? What's got you clinging on?
It's just, I'll just wait for someone to message me. And I don't like looking at people's stories now because it just makes me want to live that life that they have. But why should I be like wanting to live like somebody else? I should be happy with my own life and what I've got. And it's just like, for example, someone will post, I'm in Five Lads. I want Five Lads as well. Why am I at home right now and you're in Five Lads? And that's one of the things that irritates me about going onto Snapchat, because I'll just be viewing other people's stories and wasting my own time. And then, you know, I'll do something. I'll make, like on my private story, I might post something, and my friend sends me a text saying, "You're having a lot of fun." I'm actually not having a lot of fun right now.
It's just the photo.
It's just a photo.
Exactly. I feel like with Snapchat's all about posting your life. I feel like that's so toxic because Snapchat has caused a lot of nazar to so much people.
You know what's funny? I used to say that before I had Snapchat. I used to look at other people posting and think, why are they taking a picture of their food and posting it? I just don't understand. Why do you need people to know that you're eating this?
Exactly.
But I ended up doing it myself when I downloaded it. Then I couldn't say anything after that. But it is just not necessary. Like, honestly, we don't need to be posting on lives, even though.
With Snapchat, I want to say to any parent out there who's watching this, don't allow your kids under the age of, I'd say 17 even. I'm not even gonna lie, 17, because I feel like after 17 is when you hit proper maturity. You know what you're doing.
I wasn't allowed a phone until like 16 anyway, so I got Snapchat and like all those social media platforms pretty late, to be honest. But yeah.
I feel like you shouldn't allow your kids under age of 17 or even 16 Snapchat. Mainly Snapchat. I don't know about TikTok. No, TikTok is all right, but Snapchat, I feel like you shouldn't let your kids have that, because at that age, you just post everything. And you need to beware of your social footprint, because that's actually a thing.
But you know what I was going to say? One thing I was going to say to you is that... I actually can't. Oh yeah, sorry. So my phone broke recently, and I've actually been really happy with not having my phone. Like I've not felt that need to, you know, like how before I'd have my phone on me. I would constantly want to just like check my messages when no one's even messaging me, scrolling down on TikTok, and it just felt toxic being on my phone. And now that I haven't had it for a week, alhamdulillah, I'm actually really happy. And I remember today I went to collect my phone from the phone shop, and the guy ended up being in hospital. He's been in hospital for 2 days, and I was just thinking, Allah give him shifa, Ameen. But I was happy at the same time because my phone is gonna be not with me.
I couldn't even call Maz this morning because she didn't have her phone. But anyways, going back to the story, I feel like with social media, you know, with me, I feel like social media is so long. Do you know why? It's like living two lives.
Yes.
You have to prioritize the online life and the in real life.
There was this boy in school, and he actually checked, I don't know how he managed to do this, but he checked how long he was actually on his Snapchat and his TikTok for. And overall, throughout his day, he'd spend 8 hours on his Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, all together.
Every day?
Yes, every day. Because he goes, he doesn't go onto his, he goes in school. I don't go on my WhatsApp. I don't go onto my normal messages. It's literally just TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. And yeah, it's just a complete waste of time.
Yeah, I feel like you should prioritize your real life before you go on to making a social life yourself.
Yeah.
Because social life doesn't matter. You could show yourself on social media any way you want, and they'll interpret it the way you show them. With social media, you can pick and choose who you want to be, how you want to be. You can pick and choose your persona. That's what these influencers do.
Yes. And you know, one thing I think we should talk about now is how BBC and the radio sort of manipulate the audience, the people that listen and their followers. So I didn't think we'd have time to talk about this, to be honest, because I thought that it would go on for so long talking about social media. I guess this is another form of social media, but I wanted to talk about the World Cup and how they dictated the audience by making them change their thoughts and opinions towards Islam. I'm not going to go into depth of this because I may offend someone, so I just decided to do a brief sort of paragraph based on my opinion towards everything. Well, a lot of people would agree that the World Cup has been held in Qatar this year, a Muslim country. They're getting so much hate for it. And the media trying to portray the World Cup is describing it as a hostile place. However, actually, the fans that have travelled there have said, don't listen to the media. This is actually one of the best World Cups that they've been to. They're welcoming and they're respectful. They said that people have actually been standing outside their houses with plates of food, and they've been giving it out and welcoming people into their houses.
That is so cute.
Because a lot of people, on one person's Instagram story, they were saying that they had some hotel issues. Their hotel room had been given to somebody else. So then one family actually welcomed them to stay in their house. And they said they're so respectful. And actually, I don't know if this figure is accurate, but over 500 fans have converted to Islam. And they said that Sheikh Zakir Naik, he's one of the world-known sheikhs, and on stage they actually blocked this out, but he converted 5 Muslims on one of the World Cup games, but they blocked that out. A lot of
BBC blocked out a lot of stuff from the Qatar. I was very like confused about that.
I didn't see, because I said to my dad, I was watching TikTok and there was this opening of the young boy reciting Quran.
That was beautiful.
But I don't know. I think they blocked it out because I went downstairs and said, Baba, did you just see the opening of the young boy reciting Quran? And he said, I didn't see it. And he'd been watching it from the very start. It was the first game, the opening ceremony. And 5 Muslims had converted on that evening. And on top of that, there was a Quran recitation of Surah Al-Yasin. Though we still haven't got anybody. Sorry, we thought we ran out of time. Yes.
Let's move on to what should we talk about now? I think we should talk about why your children or your youth shouldn't stay on your phones, or shouldn't even have your phones with you at night. I feel like with social media, it's like being able to walk out of your house without walking out of your house. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Literally.
Being able to
that was such a good example. But yeah,
I feel like that leads to so much, like many people would agree on this, it leads to so much sin. Because when it's just you on your phone, the third person there's shaitan.
Yes.
You could do whatever you want.
And not just that, it's like when you're wanting to go to sleep at night time and then you realise your phone's there with you, you're just wanting to go onto it, message your friends, going onto your social media, and then it's like 2 hours have gone by and you're still distracted. And that's one thing that affects me. So actually my phone gets taken off me at night. And I'm 18, but my phone still gets taken off me at night. Yeah.
I feel like social media, you should get a hold of your brain, get a hold of your mind before anything else does. Because once social media takes over your head, that's it. You're basically, guys, if you look at it in third person, imagine your phone screen was off and you're just sat. So imagine watching yourself on your phone for hours. How does that look to you?
Yes.
That just looks like you're just sitting looking at a screen.
Yes. Okay, guys, we're going to run out of time in a minute, but make sure you guys join us after the break. We'll be discussing the social impact of individuals that we hang around with and how they can change our behavior. But for now, make sure you guys have some questions ready, and make sure you text on 07411 191062, where you're listening to 106.2 FM Salam Radio.
So
we still have 25 seconds, guys.
So we'll speak about what Madiha said, social influences, and we'd love for you to stay with us during the break, and we'll be back inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Looking for high-quality and effective laser hair removal using best-in-the-world laser technology? Here at the Beautiful Truth in Peterborough City Centre, we have the new Soprano Titanium Laser System. With its patented sapphire cooling tip and multi-wavelength technology, treatments are quick, painless and highly effective for all skin types and hair colours. Come and meet the team for a consultation today. The Beautiful Truth, 40 Cowgate, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 555540.
And this is a race against time. We urgently need you now to donate your zakat and sadaqah and to save lives across the world.
When you have clothes, you can cover up. When you have food, you don't go hungry. When you have ways to keep warm, you don't feel the cold so much. Don't forget to help them survive through winter.
So that's why we urgently need you to come forward now and donate your zakat and sadaqah at muslimhands.org.uk.
Keep them warm, keep them alive.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
हाँ जी जनाब आज तुसने किया 12 बजे वे
जरा फैमिली की बाहर खड़ना चाहना या खिलाने पिलाने से सोचना कुथे जाओ
इसी च परेशानी वाली कड़ी गल है इब्राहिमी बफे रेस्टोरेंट पर जाओ उते फ्री पार्क करो उन्होंने मजेदार ते स्वादले पाकिस्तानी इंडियन चाइनीज ते इटालियन आय 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 खाने ना ते जोड़ी कोई नहीं नाले सस्ते ते स्वादले
ए तेरा अक्सर इसका मतलब है बटवा भी नहीं होला होनेगा इब्राहिमी बफे रेस्टोरेंट वैरायटी ऑफ डिलीशियस डिशेस के अलावा जेलाटो आइसक्रीम एंड वॉफल्स भी करते हैं वीकेंड्स पर अपना टेबल बुक करवाइए और वीकडेज तशरीफ ले आइए ओपनिंग आवर्स शाम 5 बजे से रात 10:30 बजे तक इब्राहिमी रेस्टोरेंट 63 Sycamore Avenue Peterborough PE1 4JP टेलीफोन 01733 313131
In the heart of Peterborough, this is Salam Radio.
alaikum, everyone, and welcome back to the Hidayah Podcast. We are now on our second half of the hour. And right now we are going to talk about discussing the social impact of the individuals that we hang around with and how they change our behavior. So we decided to start off with a hadith. Abu Musa reported the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Verily the parable of good company and bad company is only that of a seller of musk and a blacksmith. The smeller of musk will give you some perfume. You will buy some of you of, or you will notice a good fragrance. As for the blacksmith, he will burn your clothes, or you will notice a bad smell." Bukhari and Muslim. This kind of is a metaphor to describe like who we should be hanging around with. Saying that the blacksmith, you only get a bad smell from him, and if you hang around with the perfume smeller, you'll have a good smell left on you afterwards. And it's such a good example and metaphor to describe like what kind of people we should be hanging around with and how they can have a social impact on us.
I feel like in my experience, I'm not going to go into detail, but in my experience, so growing up in secondary school, obviously I was a kid, and most of you are probably going to feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really tell the difference between good friends and bad friends.
Yes.
Because you feel at that age,
they always present themselves, and you're always like, oh, just because they're not the same as the friend that I had before, they always present themselves as somebody like all nice and friendly.
And like, at that age, I feel like that's when we're most insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go into secondary school and there's a whole lot of standards you got to meet that you probably don't even know about, because I didn't.
Yes.
And
I think this just shows the importance, this hadith just shows the importance of why we should be hanging around with people that make us feel comfortable and happy. And for me, a friend is someone that you feel excited to see, that you feel a warm energy around, someone that you can trust, and most of all, someone that does not make you feel under pressure to do something that you do not want to do. And they think that that will only be the solution to define a good friendship, which is honestly really pathetic. Honestly, I've had friends in the past that didn't work out in the end, but I still learned a good lesson from each one of those, even if it didn't work out. Sometimes you could sit down and you could think, what did I actually learn from that person? And there's still no answer, but there's always a blessing in disguise. And I've had friends that I was close to that I'd plan my whole future with, but in the end, it still didn't work out. However, after taking a long break, I've become closer to that person. We're able to understand each other better. So it can be really painful not being friends with somebody that you thought would be your friend for life, but it can teach you good lessons, even if it's a blessing in disguise. Take it as a good opportunity where you're able to reflect upon yourself and your deen. People say that some people don't change, but I don't think that's entirely true. If somebody wants to change for themselves,
I feel like us as an example, that
yes, 100%. If somebody wants to change for themselves, then by Allah's will, it will happen. It always makes you realize that you only acted like that because you felt like you had to, not because you wanted to. Because when you were alone, you change into a complete different person. They say you are your own company, but you are whoever the people around you are, as harsh as it sounds.
That is so true.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So going back to what we were talking about, in my experience, so as I was insecure coming into secondary school, you get them friends that boost your ego.
Yes.
I took them as real friends. I didn't know about deen, all this.
And you know what? I think boys, I really wanted to put this out there. Like, a lot of boys think that if your boy is there for you, when it comes to beef with other people in school, then that means they're true friends. But that's not necessarily the truth. Like, a lot of boys just want to get involved in your fights and your conflict just for their own reputation. I don't know if you can relate to that, Pidia, but they only want to do things with you just to make themselves look good, not because they actually want to do it for the sake of protecting you and being there for you. And I'm not saying that for all people. Maybe you do have a friend.
Many people are like that, actually, not just men.
What? I'm not saying that as a whole. Maybe you do have a friend that actually genuinely wants to be a part of your, not necessarily wants to cause conflict, but help you resolve your situation, just because he actually loves you and wants to be there for you. But you do get a lot of friends. Like boys as a whole, they think that, you know, if your boy's there for you in your beef, you know, this is how they talk
That's
in
my
school.
boy. That's my brethren.
Yes. My boy's there for me in school, protected me from all these people. Then that means he's my day one,
That's
and he's
family,
gonna be there.
mate.
That's family, yeah. But you've also got to understand that some boys, I'm not saying all boys, they genuinely just want to get involved in your conflict just for the sake of their own reputation. And I think that happens with a lot of girls as well. So you have to be very, very careful with how you define a true friend.
Also, don't look for just if they're making you feel good about yourself, or many friends, girls I'll say specifically, even if you've got a bad picture and you're trying to put that out there, they'll tell you it looks so good.
Yes.
And honestly, you won't even know that they're doing it bad for you. But don't trust everyone. Most of us are very naive. I'll say that, especially at that age, you'll trust a lot of people. But I want to say, as you're in secondary school, don't trust people like that. Always think the best of each other, but never give your 100% trust in them. The only one you should put your 100% trust in is Allah. Leave everything to Allah.
I mean, the good thing about, you know, when I came to my school, I had so many different friendship groups, and I swear down, every single friendship group, I learned a good lesson from each one. And I was able to sort of, when I had a second friendship group, the lessons that I learned in the previous friendship group, you know, I expected certain things, and I was more wary of how to deal with certain situations, if that makes sense. So I think you have to choose your friends wisely and never think that you have to be with a massive friendship group. You know, boys, especially like my cousins and my brothers, sometimes they'll tease me and be like, you got no friends at school. But, you know, honestly, like, even if I had one friend, I'd be happy with that. You know, sometimes I actually like being by myself.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
a good way to focus on myself. And I promise you, I feel like I've improved a lot since year 11 and changed a lot more. Yeah.
Guys, you need to remember, in Islam, you don't need to have a friend. Honestly, you don't need to have a friend. You have your family, you have hadith, Quran, you have stuff to follow. Remember, we're not on here to have fun. We're on here to be slaves of Allah. We're on here to follow Allah. We're on here to pray to Allah, guys.
At the end of the day, guys, Allah's our best friend. So we
honestly, Madiha, sorry. Tell them about
my nickname just came out, guys.
Tell them about your relationship with Allah, because I really love the way Madiha speaks to Allah. Honestly, so cute.
So sometimes when I'm having a bad day, guys, obviously I try to pray as much namaz as I can, pray as I can. But a lot of the times when I'm feeling sad or a little bit stressed out with my schoolwork, you know, it might sound a little bit crazy, but it's sometimes when you actually talk to Allah. I read this book once, and it was talking about how you should actually have conversations with Allah, and it's honestly the best feeling ever.
What book was it?
It was called, I actually can't remember what it's called. I think it was something like Reflect on Yourself. I think that was the name of it.
Carry on.
And it was saying that if you actually just talk to Allah, as if not as if he's actually there with you, but obviously Allah is everywhere with you, but like, if you actually have a conversation with him, then I did try it out. I thought I was a bit crazy to begin with, but it actually worked. And honestly, my heart was just like, I was so overwhelmed, but I felt so good after.
Beautiful.
It's like so good I felt after.
Guys, let me give you an example of a good friendship. When I met Madiha and she told me all this, it influenced me to start speaking to Allah like this. And I've had such a good relationship with Allah ever since. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
Anyways, what other aspects influence us? I'd say, what's that word? Culture. I feel like culture has a big
impact
effect on how we show ourselves.
One thing I was going to say, like on non-school uniform days, one thing that I was under pressure with some people that I used to hang around with was, like, make sure you wear this on non-school uniform day, make sure you buy these white Air Force Ones and make sure you wear this. It's just, and then sometimes they'll be like, oh, we're all gonna wear the same thing, but everything they wore was like, the whole outfit was like 50 quid, and honestly I couldn't keep up with it. So those kind of things are just so difficult. Those kind of friends, they're not the good ones for you, even if they didn't mean it. It's just like, I could never be friends with someone that put me under so much pressure, especially birthday presents. A lot of girls, girls, they love buying birthday presents for each other.
Well, I feel like there's a standard for that.
But there's a standard for that 100%. Like, when I used to go to school, honestly, some of the girls would be like, oh, so the present overall is going to cost £150. Bearing in mind, there was like makeup, clothes, branded trainers, branded flip-flops, makeup, loads of kind of this stuff. Over the whole present costed around 150 quid, and everyone is expected, there's about 7 girls in the friendship group, everyone was expected to chip in like 50 quid. And there's about 7. Each birthday, for some reason, everyone was born in June. So it was so annoying. But that kind of pressure I had in those friendship groups was just...
with me as well, when people buy you stuff and then you just feel like they expect you to buy stuff back for them as well. And that's why, like...
They define you as a
I
good
don't
friend.
hate, but I don't want expensive presents. Like, wallahi, this one time, this girl bought me a perfume for 1 quid. I'm not even joking, 1 quid. And it made me feel so happy. Like, it's not even about the money, guys.
It's not about the present. It's more about the fact that they put effort.
Showing the fact that they... Yeah.
100%.
Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to join the Instagram live on PARYA_PENGWEEN1, and feel free to ask any questions about what we're speaking about.
So I was talking about... What was I talking about again? I can't remember what I was talking about.
Presents and how...
Yeah. So yeah, guys, I think it's not about the cost, and I think a lot of people think that when you buy a gift for somebody, you have to expect it back.
So let's go back onto culture. I feel like with me, because I'm a Kurd, and Kurds, they newly came here, I think, like around the time when I was growing up. And not many Kurdish girls were hijabis. So when I wore the hijab, I felt so ugly. I felt like it was forced upon me. It wasn't forced upon me, but
at the end of the day, it's like an order of Allah, and a lot of people think you're forced to wear the hijab, but...
Yeah, it wasn't forced upon me. I accepted it, obviously, but I felt like Kurds, the Kurdish girls put a standard on me. Like, they created a standard, and many people expected, like, when they heard, oh, she's a Kurd, she must be laying. Something like that. But yeah, it really made me feel really like shit about myself. It made me feel really bad about myself. So it did affect me on my modesty journey and all that. So as I did start getting more friends, sorry for my language. Anyways, as I did start getting more friends, obviously your surroundings, it helped me a lot, and it did teach me as well, deen over culture. Because many girls out there, they wear the hijab for culture, because culturally, if you wear a hijab, it means that you've matured.
You know what I was gonna say as well? On TikTok, it kind of reminds me of what you're saying, but on TikTok, a lot of boys are actually sexualizing the hijab and Islamic outfits, and the way that modesty is presented is not like in a modest way anymore. It's more of a fashion sort of trend, if that makes sense. And they're posting these videos like, I don't want a girl like this. A girl, for example, not wearing the best of clothing, like skinny jeans or something, and she's not wearing the appropriate clothing, and then he'll say, oh, I don't want a girl like this, but I want a girl like this, and
these
she's
standards,
wearing a hijab and like a abaya. It's like sexualizing Islam so much, and that's one thing that kind of reminds me of what you're talking about with your hijab, and then immediately you think that makes sense.
I feel like if you do use social media like that, you need to be very wary of what you post. Posts, when you do post something, it means a lot to other people who view it, more than you've actually put into the post. For example, hijabis who wear makeup and they start posting with music on TikTok, for example, that really did affect me.
It just doesn't make me feel like they're wearing it or like they're promoting it because everybody wants to be modest. It's more like you're beautiful only if you wear a hijab. You're only beautiful if you wear these clothes. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way media has kind of links to what we were talking about early on, but that.
What else with social media? I was gonna say that. Oops.
Sorry, we're trying to fix the charger for the.
With social media, so as I did see these videos, it made me feel like I had to be one of them, because it, you know, when you post stuff like that, it sets a standard. Because
We're sorry guys, we're trying to talk the live out.
Turn it. With social media, when I did see these things, I feel like it set a standard. And wallahi, there was this one girl on TikTok, obviously I won't name her, but she was posting and she was like, why do hijabis have such standards? Like, why is there such standard for hijabis now out there? And she was wearing full makeup, eye contacts, all that, and I was shocked. I was honestly like, you're gonna post that and you're gonna complain that there's a hijabi, there's a standard around being a good-looking hijabi girl. I don't get it. Like,
yeah, definitely.
There's a lot more to what you post, guys. For example, like some people, you know, they post Christmas Mubarak. I know that's not a good thing to bring up, guys. I'm sorry. But I know some people bring up Christmas Mubarak or something as a joke. Obviously, yeah, I get it as a joke. But there's a lot more meaning to jokes, guys.
Even when, like, on Christmas Day, everybody's like, oh, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
It's haram for us to even say Merry Christmas to people on.
Yeah, even, like, we're going to do a Secret Santa.
Yeah.
But why now? Like, I said to one of my friends who wanted to do it ages ago, I was like, why are we doing a Secret Santa? And she said that we're not doing it because we agree with it. It's just for the fun of it. I said, but why are we doing it at this point then? Why don't we do it
some other time?
On Eid. No one does it on Eid. No one does it on Eid. Like, 100%. Why are we not having one of those secret Eid presents where everybody's giving each other presents? Why can't we do it like next week? Why does it have to be specifically when Christmas is with everybody else? It's just for the vibes, but it's still, you know.
Well, the two angels on your shoulders are going to write down the vibes, guys. Anyways, with social media as well, I know we're coming back to the social media topic.
I think it's important to link it to that.
There's a lot we need to speak about on this topic. But, you know, on TikTok, when you post something with music on, so many people be like, oh my days, I blew up. Oh my God, I'm getting so many views. Guys, you post one TikTok on TikTok with music on in the background. Oh, for every one person who views it, that's a sin for you. So if you're getting thousands of views, imagine how many sin that is for you guys.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were to die at that moment.
Know that.
Yeah, imagine if you were to die at that moment, and people keep viewing your TikToks. Do you know how much sins that is? I deep that a lot. So I used to use TikTok, and I used to I know other females who used to use TikTok and post as well. And I would advise them. I used to say, and also along that topic, sorry guys, there was a girl, she used to post TikToks with music on, hijabi, beautiful hijabi, mashallah, Allahumma barik. She died, and everyone was spreading around, guys, don't watch her TikToks, please. Report her page, so TikTok takes it down, guys, please. And that deep, you're in your grave, and there's a whole lot of sins coming towards you, written down for you, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, where's all these sins coming from?
Yes.
Because of that one post you posted, darling. That one post you posted music on.
Yes.
You need to deep it, guys. That one post you posted where you were committing tabarruj in public. Because a public sin is worse than a sin you do in private. Wallahi, there's a hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari 6069. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, everyone from my nation will be forgiven except those who publicly sin. Now that tells us a lot, doesn't it?
Effects on social media 100%.
Social media makes it so easy for you to publicly sin nowadays. I know so many of the youth,
especially like, you know, one thing that made me realize about it, kind of makes a lot of girls sort of define friendship as in, like, you know, for example, if it's somebody's birthday, like, if you didn't shout me out, that means you're not my true friend. Like, why didn't you shout me out on my birthday? That means I can't believe you didn't shout me out. And then the next day they won't talk to them in school or something like that. So those little things, that's how negative it can be for some people.
I want to bring something on that subject as well. So let's say you're shouting out your best friend for her birthday, and it's a cute little photo of her with lots of makeup, cute outfit, and you post that. You send for what? Men. Let's say a guy adds her. Let's say they start chatting because you posted that girl on your snap. And if anything happens, if any guy adds her, whatever, chats to her, whatever, that's all on you. That's all the sins are on you, because you made it easier for that guy to be in contact with that female. And also posting any females or like anything haram, like for example females with makeup on, obviously coming tabarruj, females who are struggling with modesty, posting them, that's sins for you as well.
Yes.
So every guy who sees that, sins for you. You guys need to remember there's ongoing sins as well as ongoing deeds. There's ongoing sins as well. That's why I personally post da'wah on my TikTok, because obviously it's sadaqa jariyah, so many people can learn from my experiences.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of important things that you should be doing with your friends that can help define a better friendship. Like, you know, for example, going to Islamic events with your friends. Obviously, that's not the only thing that can define your friendship, but, you know, even doing the smaller things like charity bake-offs, you know, those kind of things together, you're earning good deeds together. There's so much barakah in that, of your friendship. And it shows just what your true friends are. You know, like each Ramadan, I'll get a couple of my friends to do charity work. Another thing I wanted to mention was the New Muslim Circle charity. So I'm a part of the youth fundraising team. And a lot of the time we do like our own bake-offs. So I get a lot of my friends.
That's such a good opportunity.
I get a lot of my friends to help me do the baking. Like last year we raised £600. And alhamdulillah, that went to buying the books, the Quran books in English, because we have a lot of converts.
MashaAllah.
Yes, so mostly they're from ethnicities such as like Poland, the Lithuanian English, and alhamdulillah, recently we've had like so many people that in age of 16 years old that have come into the charity, and I've had the opportunity to help them, you know, along with some of my other friends that have wanted to also guide them as well. So I think in Ramadan we're going to be doing, you know how me and Pidia want to get the youth more involved.
Inshallah.
Just like ourselves, we want everyone else to be more involved within these kind of charities. So I'm going to work more in Ramadan, what kind of small events that we can do, such as the cake sales. You know, last year we sold so many different things. Cornflake tarts, fudge tarts I was selling, cupcakes. We raised so much, and doing that with like some of my friends, there's just so much barakah in it. And they didn't ask for money or anything like that. It was just completely, they devoted the whole Saturday and Sunday just to help me with everything.
Allahumma barik.
Yeah, that really does show like who you should be hanging around with and who's good for you. Because they want to go onto that journey with you, not for any price tag. It's literally just like for the sake of Allah. You want to do things for the sake of Allah, and that shows you who your good friends are, you know.
A lot of people pop up to me, they say, how can I find good friends? My advice to you all would be, go to your local masjid more often, join a course, like an Islamic course, like for example Hifz, or just learning fiqh. I know there's a free fiqh class Fridays at Khadija Mosque. 6 to 7. I'd recommend it to everyone out there, honestly, any ages, even reverts. And even if you're just interested in Islam, I think you should come. It's for females and males, and it's on Fridays, 6 to 7 at Khadija Mosque with Sheikh Mahmoud.
So it's saying that we have 46 minutes for adverts. So 46 seconds, sorry guys.
So I think we should conclude.
So it was with me and Piria today discussing about the social media and the impact on individuals. So inshallah, we're going to make an Instagram page where you guys can share your
the
thoughts.
Hidayah Podcast.
So next time, please text 07411 19 106 2. You are listening to 106.2 FM, guys. Assalamu alaikum.